All right, I think we have audio now. Let's see. We do. All right, we are live. We're going to see some games here for the Eternal format in just a moment. Should be some very fun stuff to watch. Round one's pairings have just gone up, so everybody's getting their stuff together and getting on to untap. We getting a bit of a late start today. Didn't quite expect things to take off, but they did, so we're good to go. Again, this is going to be round one for Eternal format JIB1. We're going to go ahead and jump into a game here. Let's go ahead and jump into this one. All right. With that said, 45-minute timer is now begun. A mulligan on Slidey's side. Curious to see how this particular tournament is going to go. This is the last format from in Eternal for base set onward to Lost Origin. The next Eternal format tournament will be base set through Silver Tempest. So that should be quite interesting to see. And my thing is shifted for some reason. There we go. Alrighty. Do a little bit of a recrop on this, guys. Sorry. That's not the right one. There we go. It's a little bit better. Unfortunately, it does lose us some screen space, but I think that's going to be better so we can actually see what's the prize and loss zone situation is. All right, we see a Marnie right out of the gate. What is this shenanigans? Okay. I see a Houndour, a Magnemite, and a Dancy. Is this going to be an attack operation? Houndour? With the Magneton from Unified Minds or Cosmic Eclipse that knock it out for some extra supporter cards. This will be interesting. And we do have Blissey Miltank on Slidey's side, so that's an archetype we're a little more familiar with. If you saw the thumbnail, you'll have seen Blissey in the thumbnail. It's because it did a great job the last tournament taking first. All right, Luxury Ball coming down, switching deck for a Pokemon that is not a level X. Making some choices about what to grab, potentially verifying some pricing. Ooh, very interesting here. We see a piece of Mewtwo V Union come in. All right, Pokestop comes down on Slidey's side after the turn's passed. Blissey goes to the active spot, and a powerful colorless energy is attached to that Blissey. So we are going to see a knockout, I believe. 40 plus 20 damage? Yeah, for sure. Just getting a quick reread on that card. So if you're not familiar with Blissey, Blissful Blast does 10 plus damage to this attack, does 30 more damage for each energy attached to this Pokemon. If you did any damage with this attack, you may attach up to 3 energy cards from your discard pile to this Pokemon. So right now, you're going to do the 10 damage plus the 30 extra damage because of Powerful Colorless Energy being attached to Blissey, so that's the 40. And then Powerful Colorless Energy itself boosts the damage by 20. So it's a minimum of 60. And Diancie already had 5 damage counters on it. It is a very dead Diancie. Kerr says the spice is real this morning. That is good. I love spice. Spice is the eternal format in general, right? Spice is you come in, you go, I don't know what to expect today, and then you see something you didn't expect, and you're like, perfect, that's what I was hoping for. All right, we see an N. Dimension Valley dropping. And we have some wonderful spammers that are in desperate need of getting whacked. Yay, hooray. Yep, I'm on it right now. We are gonna clear that. We're gonna... There we go. All is well. Sorry for that, guys. Just love the fantastic, wonderful, wonderful people that love to create those bots. Let's see, can I reload this frame? It has been saved. Now I just need to figure out how to wipe this from here. All right, 1 second. All right. There we go. All refreshed. All pretty now. Let's see, a boatload of energy attached to that Blissey. We have yet another very, very dead Diancie. Still very curious about the Houndour. There are good Houndour in Eternal that would be worth considering to... Houndoom, rather. Remember there's a Lockwood. Yeah, Lonesome. That's the one. So there is a Houndoom from Unseen Forces that has the Pokebody Lonesome. As long as you have this fewer Pokemon in play than your opponent can't play any trainer cards except for supporter cards from his or her hand. So pretty potent. So I suspect we are going to have that item lock on the Houndoom if it comes out. But it does look like Real MP is looking to assemble that Mewtwo V Union. There's three. Oh, all four pieces of it are currently in the discard pile. So that assembly is possibility right now. Okay, Real MP. Not sure what the play is being made right now. There we go. We don't get the fancy PTCGO animation for the Mewtwo V Union, unfortunately. That is one of the things the PTCGO app did very, very well, was the animation for the V Union. Unfortunately, this particular Mewtwo V Union has put its tail where its head goes. Curious to see, are we going to be seeing... I mean, I'm assuming it's a Explosion. Could be Final Burn, too. Probably a Final Burn. Does leave it pretty vulnerable. Okay, we have the call signal. Alright, call signal been activated. So Slidey is going to take a prize card for that activation. That allows the Real MP to find up to 3 supporter cards and put them directly into their hand. And you do that at the cost of giving your opponent a prize card. Okay. Dimension Valley replaces Pokestop. Twins comes down. Twins, a supporter from the Heart Gold era. It says when you're search your deck for any two cards and put them into your hand and shuffle your deck afterward. You may only use this card if you have more prize cards left than your opponent. So it works together pretty well with that Magneton. So basically a clean search for two cards in your deck. A double computer search for being behind on prize cards. All right. We do see that Lonesome Houndoom come down. I was right about that. So that does mean that Slidey is currently item locked. technically item and stadium locked, both. We see the POW come down also, pulling up the other Blissey. That makes sense, Curse. So Curse has pointed out that the reason the cards appear upside down for us is it flips. The way untap works is it flips the cards for your opponent. In this case, that means that they're going to be upside down for us. All right, I see a rearrangement of energy through Shaman, so that stall did not work out, unfortunately, because of that very powerful effect on Shaman. Shaman has a Poke Power that says, once during your turn, when you play Shaman from your hand onto your bench, you may move as many energy cards attached to your Pokemon as you like to any of your other Pokemon. So the idea is to stall out the Blissey, right? You want to pull it forward because it has no energy on it, give yourself that extra turn. There's a power of the Mewtwo V Union as you whiff that energy, or didn't have a chance to get it on there. Unfortunately, Shaman says, no, you don't get that turn. That energy is going to be on that Blissey, and that Mewtwo V Union is going to be pretty dead. And we are going to go to game 2. We have 29, just over 29 minutes left in round 1. This is a best of 3 format. So our best of 3 format Swiss today. So we are going to see a game 2, potentially even a game 3 here. This is Mewtwo V Union Houndoom against Blissey Miltank. All right, players have got a starting card. I have to imagine Real MP is going to choose to go first. With an Azelf start. Ooh, it's a little rough. Azelf is a great card, but not necessarily the one you want to start. Azelf has that Poke Power Time Walk. Once during your turn, when you put Azelf from your hand onto your bench, you may look at your face-down prize cards. If you do, you may choose one Pokemon you find there, show it to your opponent, and put it into your hand. Then choose one card in your hand and put it as a prize card face down. We see a counter energy go onto that Azelf. Hope of being able to retreat it out to not get donked, but that's... I mean, it's 70 HP, so unless Slatty plays some sort of plus power, I think that Azelf is maybe going to survive. Guzma and Hala coming down. Oh, that's going to be a donk. That is game over. So Fighting Fury Belt increase... Oh, wait, it's not, though. Yes, it is, because of double colorless energy. That's brutal. So that's going to be... You don't even need the Fighting Fury Belt, right? No. 70 damage without it because of DCE. The Fighting Fury Belt just adds instant injury and adds 10 more damage to make it 80. So that itself is dead. Yes. Real MPs searching their deck. Am I missing something? Yeah, okay, so that's going to be game over for that. Yeah, okay, so that was... Whew, that was brutal. Unfortunately, sometimes it's possible to forget double energies exist. But yes, double colorless energy pretty much ending that game on its own there. That is Elf standing no chance against that Blissey. So we're going to go ahead and switch games because that means Blissey is moving on to the next round at 2-0 in that particular matchup. So we're going to jump into Gil and Texter's game here. We see Ultra Necrozma versus Palkia. This is Ultra Necrozma from Cosmic Eclipse, and Origin form Palkia V-Star from Astral Radiance. You see Irida down. Irida, an extremely exceptional card, even in the Eternal format. Used in conjunction with cards like Pokedrawer Plus. Pokedrawer Plus, when you play 2 of them at once, you are able to search your deck for 2 of any card. Irida allows you to search for a Water-type Pokemon and an item card, so Pokedrawer Plus could be one of those. If you already have Pokedrawer Plus in your hand, your possibilities are endless. What's great, too, is you also have Cryogonal in Eternal and in Expanded. So Cryogonal's Frozen Lock does 10 damage, which isn't very much, but it makes it so your opponent can't play any item cards in their hand during your turn, which means that, especially early on in the game, you can establish an item lock right off the gate, slow your opponent down drastically, and because this is a very item-heavy one, there's a lot of very powerful item cards, and a lot of decks aren't necessarily going to be expecting to have to deal with no early item lock. Cryogonal is one of those exceptions. It is a basic Pokemon, so that's rough. All right, we see a Garbodor come into the active spot with a Float Stone. Float Stone and the Garbotoxin ability on Garbodor, as well as Silent Lab, both shutting off Ultra Necrozma's Ultra Burst ability. Ultra Burst ability says this Pokemon can't attack unless your opponent has 2 or fewer prize cards remaining. So it shuts that off, allows the Ultra Necrozma to attack anyway, despite the prizing. Luster of Downfall doing 170 damage, discarding an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. So even if you don't necessarily take the knockout, you are doing some extra damage to their board state. I see a Guzma Holoplate from Texter's side, searching for a Silent Lab. Not choosing to do any discards. At this point, it would be too late. You've already searched the deck. So not choosing to do any discards, just getting that Stadium. Playing Lana's Fishing Rod. I'm not sure what's going on here. Choosing to discard Lana's Fishing Rod, it looks like that was a bit of a confusing play out. Anyway, choosing to put the double dragon energy rather onto the Ultra Necrozma, retreating the Garbodor with the Floatstone, and putting Ultra Necrozma in the active spot to do that 170 damage to the Origin form Palkia V-Star. Now the big question is that going to matter? At this point, the prize cards are already 5-3 against Texter. So there's not going to be a knockout here. Definitely going to be short damage-wise. All that needs to happen is an energy needs to be attached to that active Palkia. And then that Ultra Necrozma is gone. So the question is, does Gil have an energy? We see an Acerola, so it doesn't even matter. Acerola scoops up that Palkia, put the other Palkia down, attach a water energy to the active Palkia that you just scooped up with the other one, and play the V down again to get it ready for next turn if you so choose. Ordinary Rod, shuffling back a few cards. Got a water energy, another water energy. Just choosing 2 water energy, calling it good. I do see that Palkia come down and Subspace Swell for KO. And then that Garbodor comes once again to the active spot. See a special charge on Texter's side. I'm going to recycle those Double Dragon energies to make sure they are accessible. Quick balling away a float stone. Have to wonder, is it going to be an alternate charisma? Yes, yes it is. See Professor Oak's new theory come down. Shuffle your hand into your deck. Draw 6 cards, just like Cynthia from Ultra Prism. A newer version of that same effect. Ooh, and we see Field Blower. Getting rid of its own floatstone. His own floatstone, really? Really? Why? Okay. I'm not understanding the play being made here, but I'm sure there's something being made. Let's see what's going on. Level Ball for a card, a basic Pokemon with 90 or less HP. Failing that search. Trying to thin the hand down, perhaps? To draw a little bit more with Claydol to get that double dragon. But I feel like you would have Field Blowered away the Silent Lab if you had to, instead of... it's a very interesting play. All right, drawing 4 off of Claydol's Pokepower. Play Claydol with that Cosmic Power Pokepower. Once in your turn before your attack, you may choose up to 2 cards from your hand and put them on the bottom of your deck in any order. If you do, draw cards until you have 6 cards in your hand. This power can't be used if Claydol is affected by a special condition. Think of this, if you will, as a supercharged version of Bibarel from Brilliant Stars. So cards have been drawn, but I think that game's just over, unfortunately. All right, that Garbodor is gone. Texter saying, yeah, there were a lot of things I could have done better. Yeah, I think this is probably Texter's first time playing this particular deck. Probably not quite familiar with the ins and outs. If I'm not mistaken, this is also Texter's first time playing the Eternal format. So it's a little bit of a learning curve. All right, we see that guard come on to the Trebush. It's guard unknown. It says once during your turn, before your attack, if unknown G is on your bench, you may discard all cards attached to it and attach it to one of your Pokemon as a Pokemon tool card. As long as unknown G is attached to a Pokemon, prevent all effects of attacks, excluding damage done to that Pokemon. All right, we see a discarded Lele, and then a Rescue Stretcher. Choosing to shuffle back 2 Ultra Necrozma and a Ditto. I feel like this matchup is very difficult for Ultra Necrozma. Palkia with the ability to continually reuse those Acerolas, making it very difficult for Ultra Necrozma to take those knockouts. Ultra Necrozma not quite dealing enough damage to successfully one-shot Palkia each turn. Frankly, making it just rough. All right, Steven's advice is draw a number of cards. Draw a number of cards up to the number of your opponent's Pokemon in play. So, drawing a whopping 6 cards there off that Steven's advice. All right, so we see the energy discarded off of that active Palkia. Versus Seeker comes down, Melanie attach, and game. So going to game 2, we have just over 15 minutes left in the round. Texter choosing whether they want to go first or second. Going second instead of choosing to go first. Texter prematurely revealing the Trebuch, but that's okay. And we see the Origin form Palkia V starting. Alright, what does Gil's hand look like? This is going to be an attached pass. Indeed, it was an attached pass. We see a Zelf come down on Texter's side, choosing to fish out an Ultra Necrozma from the prize cards. Putting a card from their hand into the prizes. Playing down Ultra Necrozma, discarding a Guzma with a Mysterious Treasure. Mysterious Treasure, an item card from Forbidden Light, lets you search for your deck for a Psychic or Dragon type Pokemon. Very strong search for those two types. We see Tapu Lele come down, choosing to get set up with Guzma and Hala. Have to assume you're getting a Silent Lab, a Double Dragon Energy, and a Float Stone. There's that Silent Lab. Discarding Special Charge and Ultra Ball to use the secondary effect for Guzma Hala. Getting that Float Stone, getting that Double Dragon Energy. Double Dragon attached to Ultra Necrozma, Float Stone on the Trebuch to get it out of the active spot. Retreating for that Necrozma to get that chip damage in. Hit that 170 this turn to make Gil worry a bit. It's a bit difficult to Acerola your only Pokemon. Discarding the only energy that was in play on top of everything. So if Gil has a Melanie in hand, may not be the end of the world, but could still be rough. You see the evolution to the V-Star. There's that Melanie. She's coming. Drawing 3 cards off that Melanie. Have to wonder if there's maybe a water energy in the future. There's the water energy. Windstorm getting rid of the Floatstone and the Silent Lab. Gil does pretty desperately need some Pokemon in play in order to take a knockout here. Oh no. Ultra Necrozma only has 110 HP. There is a knockout. So there is indeed a knockout. No bench Pokemon is not a problem this time. However, if Texter can get an Ultra Necrozma set up again, it's game over. But did Texter overextend this last round? That is a very real possibility. We see the Professor Juniper come down, discarding the card that was left in hand to draw 7 cards. Silent Lab comes down, Luxury Ball comes down to grab the Ultra Necrozma. Just missing one piece now, just need that Double Dragon energy and some way to retreat. Gil, a little frustrated that Texter just happened to have a Juniper in hand to draw more cards. I mean, it could spell absolute disaster for him. Texter choosing to grab Ditto instead of the Ultra Necrozma. Ditto with the form variation Pokepower that says, once during your turn, you may search your discard pile for a basic Pokemon excluding any Pokemon X and Ditto, and switch it with Ditto. Any cards attached to the Ditto damage counter, special conditions and effects on it are now on the new Pokemon. Place Ditto in the discard pile. So we're seeing that swap with the Ultra Necrozma. That ability form variation is very similar to the Ditto V currently in standard format, although that Ditto is going to rotate here shortly. We are seeing a discarding of a Silent Lab with the Quick Ball to get a Baltoy. Still missing a way to retreat. And it's a pass. So there is not going to be a second turn donk here. Gil will have a chance to play the game. Irida coming in to break the board state, if you will. One of the best cards in the format, in Eternal, in Expanded, and in Standard. One of the very unassuming cards, but it is an extremely strong one. See one Pokedrawer Plus and a second Pokedrawer Plus come. Boom. You got 2 cards off those Pokedrawers. Got the Cryogonal off the Irida. Choosing to play a Dive Ball. Dive Ball, search your deck for a Water-type Pokemon and put it into your hand. Getting a second Origin Form Palkia V and a Skyfield. Skyfield getting rid of that Stadium, making sure that it is no longer in play. That does mean, however, that there are now, or there will be at least, 3 Silent Labs in the discard pile once that one is discarded. Capacious Bucket pulling 2 water energy into Gil's hand, getting that second energy onto the Palkia to ensure that it is able to attack once again with Subspace Swell, knocking out the active Trubbish. We see Professor Oak's new theory. Texter finding a new hand of 6 cards with Professor Oak. See the Claydol come down. Evolve that Baltoy. Claydol again, extremely strong support in this format. A Field Blower discarded with Mysterious Treasure. Getting a Trubbish down to replace the now very dead Trubbish. and a cosmic power. Putting 2 cards, I would assume. Just the one. Choosing 1 card on the bottom of the deck. Nope, there's a second one. All right, so to draw 5 cards with Claydol's Cosmic Power, Poke Power. Just have just over 5 minutes left in the round. This could be quite a close game here. Unfortunately for Texter, this does go to time. Gil is up 1-0 in the record for Swiss at the moment, so they will take the entire round. We shall see. See, a quick ball discarding Pokemon Collector. Pokemon Collector, an extremely potent supporter card that allows you to search for 3 basic Pokemon and put them into your hand. Think of this as just a much better setup card than even Bridget. All right, we see Ditto. Ditto dropping in the field, getting ready to replace itself with the Ultra Necrozma when it goes down. Texter passing, unable to get the knockout, unfortunately. Not able to shut off that ability on the Ultra Necrozma. Fortunately, that spells doom. See support navigation come down for Lapras. Lapras' support navigation very reminiscent of a much newer card, Luminian V, and its Luminous Sign ability. Search deck for a supporter card and put it into your hand. Choosing to get the Guzma, going after the Trubbish, I would have to imagine, making it the Lele. Ooh, the Lele, very interesting. Going for the 2 prize cards over, making it next to impossible to set up a lock for the ability. Subspace while that Lele is gone, that is 2 prize cards. Gil just needs to take 2 more prize cards in 3 minutes and 5 seconds, and they've got it. They'll have 2-0. All right, what can Texter do? Looking at the 4 cards in their hand, contemplating their life decisions at the moment. Have to wonder if they're going to make use of that cosmic power. They're definitely going to have to make use of that Ditto. It does say that on the card. So, yes, turns into play is indeed an effect that Ditto keeps. Actually, it doesn't say it. Interesting. But yes, it does. Newer cards with that kind of effect do say it. Going for greed. Trying to see if they can take some prize cards before they go out. Seeing a Guzma come down. Going after that Palkia. The damaged Palkia coming to the active spot. You see Trubbish come to the active spot. He's got to be hoping for a floatstone and a Garbodor. So they can retreat the Garbodor back out and get the Necrozma attacking. Okay, so there's the Garbodor. Just needs a floatstone now. All right, that is time. Time is up. So Ditto is going to become a what? There is no Baltoy in. We are currently on turn 0 of time. See Claydol for 5. Digging. Got a floatstone, just need that Garbodor. It's the only way that Necrozma is going to be able to attack this turn. They're saying this deck is slow. It's like, it's not. It just doesn't do well in this matchup. And Gil says, I think all the item locking in game 1 took about 2/3 of the round. So it'd be about 30 minutes. All right. So we do see that Palkia go down. New Palkia goes to the active spot. Melanie attaching an energy to the bench Palkia V, drawing 3 cards. Getting a knockout on the active Ultra Necrozma. That's 2 Double Dragon Energy already in discard. If I'm mistaken, there was a special charge discarded early on. Yep, special charge was discarded very early on in the game. All right, Silent Lab comes back down. Or is being bumped. Let's see, Silent Lab is coming down right now. Skyfield is being bumped. Versus Seeker comes in. Getting Pokemon Collector. Getting Ultra Necrozma. Baltoy. Playing down the Ultra Necrozma. Throwing the Double Dragon on it. Have to retreat that Trubbish and then attack with the Ultra Necrozma. And we do see an energy discarded from the Palkia, but it does look like Gil is going to Versus Seeker Melanie back into play. And such is the case. Melanie will end the game here, taking that last prize card for Gil. Gil going 2-0 into the next round. Just send the pairings for the next round real quick to the Discord. Alrighty. So games should be going back up in a second here with the new pairings. Two will start shortly. All right. We have a game. So Texter was playing the Ultra Necrozma deck this last round. Should still be playing the Ultra Necrozma deck. We just need to see what it is that Ketsubon is playing. Ketsubon had the bye this last round, so we do not know yet what they were playing. Ooh, an Empoleon start. And straight into a dive ball. Have to wonder if this is a version of Origin Form Palkia V-Star. Speaking of which, this is indeed a form of Origin Form Palkia V-Star. Passing over to Texter for their turn. Going for the Luxury Ball. It's interesting that Empoleon V will actually work out in Texter's favor in this matchup. Unfortunately, that Empoleon V is going to shut off Emperor's Eyes rather is going to shut off Ultra Burst. Do see quite a few pieces coming in for texture on the other side there. All right, Ultra Charisma, going forward, throwing in the Double Dragon energy and just attacking, I would hope. Discarding a Double Dragon energy. Bold choice, sir. Seeking a Baltoy, perhaps? There is the Baltoy indeed. Double Dragon going to the discard pile. Baltoy getting ready to become a Claydol as soon as possible to ensure that Texter is able to draw cards continuously. And we are going to see that 170 from the Ultra Necrozma. Do you see the evolution for that benched Palkia come in? Guzman Hala. Good old Guzman Hala. Guzman Hala allowing you to search for a stadium card. Also, at the same time you play it, discard 2 other cards from your hand. You choose to do that, you draw, or not you draw, you search for a tool card and a special energy card. So, Katsuban playing the card here, grabbing a Skyfield. A Floatstone. We would have seen that one coming, right? And a Splash Energy. So Splash Energy, very interesting card. Unfortunately, giving me a nice juicy target for the Ultra Necrozma's effect there. I wonder if Katsuban has another water energy. Somehow. We do see support navigation. Fortunately, a supporter card has already been played this turn, so not going to be seeing a Melanie, at least not this turn. So I have to wonder if that Empoleon V is just going to retreat. In that case, the Skyfield was perhaps a little premature. Getting Irida off the support navigation, holding onto it for next turn. And then playing Crobat. Drawing 4 cards. So we do see that Empoleon go to the bench, offering up Lapras as a sacrifice, hoping that Texter doesn't have some form of gust to go after that Empoleon or to start picking on the Palkia. Gust apparently not there. Steven's advice being chosen instead. I'm going to draw 4 cards off of Steven's advice. We see an Ultra Ball come down, probably to get a... which one's being played? A Mysterious Treasure or an Ultra Ball is being played. We do not yet know which. Looks like it's going to be that Mysterious Treasure. So we are going to see the Mysterious Treasure find Unknown Q. The quick power. Do have to wonder. Okay, just making sure we're keeping things clean there. So discarding a Mysterious Treasure and a Double Dragon Energy for the Ultra Ball. Alright, so the DDE was discarded in favor of the Ultra, or to use the Ultra Ball. Alright, so Double Dragon Energy and Mysterious Treasure discarded off the Ultra Ball, drawing more cards with Claydol. We see a Silent Lab come down, so that means that the Stadium War has been won by Texture this turn. That Ultra Necrozma will be attacking even without the Garbodor in play. So Lapras is a goner. Texter may have a rough go next turn if he can't get something set up. Yep. Just gonna KO the Lapras. Take a prize card while you have the chance. Catch on putting up the bench Origin form Palkia V-Star with that splash energy. Drawing a card. Perhaps going to play that Irida that's been revealed to us for a while now. We see a Skyfield bump that Silent Lab. Silent Lab is now discarded. Right, we see the Palkia coming down. It must be off the Irida. Choosing to reveal a Pokédraw Plus off of Irida. Perhaps he already has another Pokédraw Plus and we'll take a use of it. Looks like that is going to be the case. So Pokédraw Plus and Pokédraw Plus. Yep. Get that double computer search effect off of Pokédraw. Get something juicy with those cards. Question is what? Already taking a knockout with that the active V star. So you get to wonder what he's setting up for this next turn. And the Ultra Necrozma goes down. Texter having to choose between putting a Trubbish into the active spot with no easy way to retreat it, or putting a Claydol in the active spot and being forced to attach a float stone to the Claydol. Choosing to go with the Trubbish. Ditto coming into play, but we do have 3 Double Dragon Energy in the discard pile. Haven't yet seen the special charge hit the discard pile, so that is still an option to get 2 of them back into the deck. Texter choosing to discard a Claydol and a Pokemon Collector for Ultra Ball. And then discarding Silent Lab with a Quick Ball. So playing both an Ultra Ball and a Quick Ball. Would imagine that he's going for... Definitely getting the Garbodor off the Ultra Ball, but I'm imagining he's going for the Ultra Necrozma. Is that question, what is Texter going for off that Quick Ball? Tapu Lele. That actually seems to make a lot of sense. I think that's a good choice. I would play the Lele now. Grab the Guzmahala. And then fill the hand with some cards using Cosmic Power. Choosing maybe to grab something else instead of the Lele, though. Going with the Lele for sure. Okay. Confirmed, yes, that is the play they want to go with. Texas are saying, damn, this is so difficult. Yeah, welcome to sequencing, buddy. And I've said this a lot lately, but standard format hasn't had any real sequencing in a long time. It feels not for probably 2-3 years. Not compared to other formats, that's for certain. All right, we see the Ditto be swapped out with the Ultra Necrozma. Ditto, an extremely good card for this format, and especially for this deck. Did not see the Guzmahala come out from the deck. I did see a Guzma, but not Guzmahala. Ketsuban reminding there's always game 2. Do you see another Ultra Necrozma come down? Unfortunately, Texas in a pretty rough spot if they didn't get the Guzmahala. Or a way to get it back from the discard. All right, we do see the Garbodor come down and a Professor Juniper. Going for Juniper instead of Guzmahala. That is rough. Needed either Field Blower or Windstorm to blow off that unknown or a Floatstone, but it's not looking like that's going to happen. It's already going to be difficult to find the energy. Texas saying they had it if they didn't evolve the Garbodor. They either had another Garbodor they just drew into or a Silent Lab. Is that going to be a pass? What's going on here? Discussing the complexity of the Ultra Necrozma deck. Texter not used to playing something other than standard, so just a reminder that not everybody who plays in these tournaments is a highly seasoned Eternal player. A lot of people are coming into this format for the first time. Some of them have never even played Expanded. So jumping headfirst into a 26-year car pool it can be pretty intimidating, and especially when you're not decking like Dexter has, it's gonna be a fun one when you're having to try to learn the deck on the fly. Like like the more recent standard formats with Lost Origin and Silver Tempest, and like older standard formats in early Sun and Moon, if you get rid of the wrong card at the wrong time, it can actually matter really quite a lot. It can even cost you the game. See that Acerola scooping up the Empoleon V and the Floatstone, putting both of them into the hand. Acerola, an extremely strong supporter card. Very omnipresent in my favorite format, which is Sun and Moon Lost Thunder. Used a lot in Zoroark variants to prevent the two shots against Zoroark GX in particular. Definitely had to get that Empoleon out of there to take that option away from Texter. We see a Double Dragon Energy come down on the Ultra Necrozma, but now there is no Garbodor. They could get it with the Rescue Stretcher though. That is a possibility. Choosing to get Unknown Q. Attaching it to Trebush. Perhaps have another way of getting the Garbodor out. Okay. Do see something? We see Mysterious Treasure, discarding a card to search for a dragon or psychic Pokemon. So the natural choice there is going to be that Garbodor. I'm assuming that Mysterious Treasure is discarding the Ultra Ball. Have to hope that second Garbodor is in deck. It is, so we will see that Garbodor come into play, evolve on that Trebush, and make it possible for Ultra Necrozma to attack. We see a second mysterious treasure come down to find the Ultra Necrozma. I think both texts are here, both thinning their deck to get that special charge to recycle those Double Dragon energy. For because they've got to be building it for that clay doll. Yep, there's that clay doll. Just straight drawing 3 off of the clay doll there. Choosing to play down the other Ultra Necrozma, realizing it doesn't really matter how thin their bench is, that Palkia is going to knock them out anyway. See the income down. So Texter will draw 5, and Ketsuban will draw 4. There's the special charge. Special charge, throwing 2 of those Double Dragon energies back into the deck as quickly as possible to make it possible to have them accessible for these benched Ultra Necrozmas that are just waiting to take the final blow on one of these Palkia. That Palkia taking 170 damage from the Ultra Necrozma. Its ability shut off with the Garbodor's Garbotoxin. And texts are saying, incoming Acerola. I do have to wonder, there does have to be a discard there. There is a choice, so Splash Energy is going to be the choice. Discarded by the attack. Definitely the right choice there. All right. Ketsuban drawing a card from their deck. Have 5 cards in their hand off of that in. Pretty slow to make any crazy choices here. May have a bit of a rough hand. Let's see, if Floatstone come down on that active Palkia V-Star. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like they'll be getting an attack off this turn. Do need quite a few pieces to make that happen. Katsuban says, good news, I have a fresh active Pokemon. Bad news, I forgot about Garbodor. Garbotoxin, unfortunately, shutting off Palkia's V-Star power. That is an ability, which means that there's no way to throw any energy into the discard pile to make it happen. Just not a choice. Just a single attach pass. And Texter throwing Versus Seeker in. Grabbing a Guzma. Dusting up the Palkia. Damage counters on it. Putting a fresh Ultra Necrozma to the active spot. Now we just need to see either a Double Dragon Energy or a Floatstone come down. And there it is. There's Double Dragon Energy. That is 2 price cards off of that Palkia. Palkia is going down. Unfortunately, the runaway was not successful. Could not dodge the knockout. Zelf. Why would a Zelf not work? A little bit of confusion about Poke Power versus abilities there. Just making sure they are aware. So Azelf, they were thinking that Azelf wouldn't work because of Garbodor, but Claydol and Azelf both are perfectly functional during that ability lock. Abilities are not Poke Powers. They function very similarly, but they are not the same thing in both Unlimited and Eternal. So if you have ability lock in play, you can use Poke Powers. So Garbodor does not shut off Azelf, and it does not shut off Claydol. That's part of what makes Claydol so insanely potent. Is even though Garbodor is a very big force to be reckoned with, it doesn't matter for Claydol. You still have that draw power. You still have that way to bail yourself out as Necrozma. We see that Skyfield being abused here by Texter, throwing now all 4 of those Ultra Necrozmas into play, making sure they are ready to go. And that Palkia is just demolished by the Ultra Necrozma. Texter going down to 3 prize cards here. Getting very close to a game. This game is very exciting for everyone involved. We do see an energy come down on that active Palkia V-Star. Texter saying, my deck is frighteningly thin, just 8 cards left in the deck, but at this point, does it even matter? They set up very, very well, has 2 Necrozmas in play with energy on them. One is going to get knocked out right here. There will be another one, just has to draw into another one. Entirely possible to take game. So we see a special charge. So we are going to see two Double Dragon Energy shuffled right back into that deck, making 10 cards in the deck instead of 8. Well, 9 now because of the draw for return. So that Double Dragon is going to be very easily accessible for Texter off of that Cosmic Power. Cosmic Power again, just an amazing, amazing Poke Power. Ultra Necrozma is going to attack. Nope, we are going to Poke Power. So we are going to see that Cosmic Power. Drawing 3 cards. And we do see an attachment on the benched Ultra Necrozma, so that follow-up attack is going to happen. We do see Skyfield get blown away. So Skyfield going to be discarded. Sexer is going to have to discard down to just 5 Pokemon on the bench. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That Lele goes away. That 2 prize card option is now gone. That brings Texter now down to all single prizers, making it much more difficult for Ketsubon to take this game. And 170 hitting into that Palkia V-Star. And naturally discarding a water energy, making it even more difficult for that Palkia to recover. Gets him on drawing card for their turn. Have to be contemplating their choices right now. Choosing to play that as Zelf, using its Poke Power to search the prizes for a basic, or a Pokemon is a Pokemon, right? Yes, a Pokemon. This is not Hisuian Heavy Ball. Search for a Pokemon and put it into your hand. Basically trading it for a card in your hand. But is there a choice to choose? Getting an Origin Form Palkia V out of those prize cards. Choosing a card now to put back into the prizes. Choice has been made. Palkia V coming down on the bench. Trying to get it ready to be useful. Trying to make it ready to attack this next turn. That Garbodor's Garbotoxin making it very difficult to recover after a knockout here. Taking away the V-Star power from Palkia. Does Katsuban have that second energy? No. It's just a pass, and a texter immediately goes for computer search. Discarding 2 cards from their hand to just search their deck for a card. Discarding Professor Oak's New Theory and Marnie for Double Dragon, perhaps? Could be thoroughly punished by Crushing Hammer too, but Enhanced Hammer if any deck were playing that right now, going for that option. But all 5 cards in the deck may not be what they're after. Yep, going for that Double Dragon energy, attaching straight to that Ultra Necrozma. Texter now needs to take 3 prize cards to win. Does he have the means? That is the question. Needs to get those 3 prize cards with those energies in play. There are only 4 cards left in Texter's deck. So if he plays this wrong, he will lose to deck out. Or to energy exhaustion. Either one will be a possibility here. That Palkia is going down. Texter now just needs to take 1 prize card. Frankly, it seems doable. 4 minutes left in the round. This is game 1 of round 2. But with just those 4 minutes left, this could be something. All right, we see a Dive Ball. Probably going for that Origin Form Palkia V-Star, but at this point, without Melanie, there isn't going to be an attack this turn. Melanie or a Field Blower. Field Blower would also do the trick. And it's a pass. And that is game. That Guzma drops down, and it is game. Whew, that was quite an intense game there. Back and forth between 2 players, getting their hands wet with some Eternal format decks. We have 3.5 minutes left in the round for game 2. I do not think we're going to see a resolution with a single prize deck like Ultra Necrozma, but we will see anyway. There could be a donk. It could be very interesting. Could just be a few turns. We'll see. Ketsuban still could manage to tie it up, even with just 3 minutes left. All right. Ultra Necrozma start, Palkia V start. Not too bad on either side. Let's see how these hands are going. Ketsuban choosing to go first. Looking at their hand. Contemplating their life choices. Deciding what is the best play for this first turn in game 2. We see a Dive Ball. Dive Ball coming into play. Grabbing perhaps another Palkia. I feel like if you're playing Dive Ball, you would want to be playing Lapras from, I believe it's Legend Maker, to search for supporter cards. I feel like that's a given, frankly. Yep, there is another Palkia, so we'd see that Palkia come down. Texter says, man, now that I know that Claydol has a Poke Power. Yeah, the deck plays very differently when you know everything about the deck. Very differently. Okay, we see Double Dragon Energy attached to that Necrozma. Silent Lab come down. Professor Oak's New Theory come down. Shuffle that hand away. Draw 6 fresh new cards. Hoping for something else that doesn't get knocked out next turn. so that it's not just a donk. Quick Ball. Quick Ball is a good card here. Quick Ball discarding something from the hand to find another Pokemon. I would imagine maybe a Baltoy. Who knows? Discarding a Field Blower. Making the difficult choices. What to pick? You have Baltoy. Do you get another Ultra Necrozma? Do you maybe get a Lele? And I mean, there are options. We do see that Baltoy come down. I do think that's the right choice. This is the safest choice. I want to get that ready for the next turn to be able to abuse that Poke Power. So Baltoy does go down. This is Baltoy with the Theta Stop ancient trait to prevent all of effects of your opponent's abilities done to this Pokemon. So pretty good stuff. Silent Lab in play. 170 damage done to that Origin form Palkia V. It is now Ketsuban's turn. I need to call time here. Just a second. All right. Make sure the other players are aware also. Okay. All right. How will the game finish in 4 turns? That is the question. All right, we see the Palkia V-Star come to the newly active Pokemon V in the active. The newly active V is now evolved into an Origin form Palkia V-Star. See Capacious Bucket come down, searching for those 2 water energies, pulling them into the hand, probably discarding them with something like, I don't know, Ultra Ball. Revealing the other energy, that's fine. We see another Dive Ball. And Radiant Greninja using its Concealed Cards ability to discard that water energy and draw 2 cards. And Star Portal. So Star Portal attaching energy to that Palkia, making sure that that Palkia has the energy to knock out that Necrozma, making it much, much more difficult for Texter to attack into something this next round, and making it even more likely for Ketsuban to take a game off of Texter in time here. So Ketsuban was turn 0. So this is now turn 1. We do see the Necrozma, though. Do we see a Guzma? There's a chance of a Guzma coming right now. That and Treasure can find Lele, which can find Guzma, which can find that knockout on that V. See Guzmahala instead. Guzmahala. I'm not sure what just happened there. This is turn 1 of time in round 2 of the Eternal format. This is JIBX number 9, Eternal format. One choice that is a possibility is treasuring for a collector, getting Pokemon Collector and throwing down 3 more bench Pokemon, or 2 more after Lele, making it impossible for. It's already basically impossible. No, it is already impossible, in fact, for Kaisuban to knock everything out before time is up. Okay, we see an N instead of the Guzmahala that came down earlier. See a retreat on that Claydol, that Ultra Necrozma. No, the Baltoy? Missing the energy, the ability shut off. Oh no. Didn't get the Silent Lab, unfortunately. Because Mahalo would have been the safer choice. Alright. This is turn 2 of time. Zelf coming down with its time walk Poke Power. See a quick swap of prize cards there. Getting the Cryogonal out of the prizes. And Crobat V comes down to draw a few extra cards with Dark Asset. Again, this is JIBX number 9, Eternal format. Eternal format is base set onward. So currently base set through Lost Origin is tournament legal. Silver Tempest will become legal in the Eternal format next week on Friday. We see a discard of Splash Energy to draw 2. Getting Acerola. Taking away the option to take extra prize cards with a Guzma, that is no longer a possibility. I think this is going to end in a draw. I think there is no chance. So there's this turn 3 coming up. Unfortunately, there will not be a resolution to this particular game. But this round will go to Texter 1-0. Texture did win the first game against Ketsuban. Lab coming down, the attack hitting, but unfortunately just not enough to end the game. It will be a tie. Looks like the other round has ended in a complete tie. My suspicions, they went 1-1 and then could not come to a resolution for game 3. All right, so we are going to go to the next round here in just a second. So we're going to get that round set up. All right, this is going to be the final round. All right, round 3. Yes, this is the final round. All right. So as they are getting set up, I need to run and do something very quickly. right, sorry for the delay there. We are going to jump into this game. We see an active Starmie V. And that good old Irida. Battle VIP pass. Getting cryogonal. Oh boy. Cryogonal and Palkia. Putting 10 damage on that Diancie and item locking real MP. Item locking is pretty devastating in this format. You are not ready for item lock. You are in trouble. Wow. That is a scoop. Going into game 2. That was a very devastating start there for Gil and for Palkia. Diancie come face up. And Starmie and Palkia ready to go. All right, Real starts the game. And we see 1, 2, 3 pieces of Mewtwo V Union hit the discard pile. Turn 1. Very tasty. Let's see, resetting Holmar Shadow Drop, Horror Psychic Energy, go on that Diancie. And a pass. Gil starting out with a Dive Ball for that Lapras. Mentioned that previous game. Dive Ball for Lapras is just great. Getting an Irida to get Pokedraw Plus and Good Ninja getting Pokedraw Plus. A double Pokedraw Plus, extremely potent. All right. We see Cryogonal come down. Do we see the item lock? Yes, we do. That's an energy attachment to... Do we? Yeah, there's the energy attachment to the Cryogonal. Switch out of the Starmie into the Cryogonal. And 10 on Diancie. Cryogonal probably winning this game. Right, so Gil has taken that round. They have decided that game's over with. Yep. Okay. So we will go to the other game. This is Ketsuban versus Slighty. Oh boy. this is Blissey versus Palkia. And that is one very charged up Blissey. Radiant Greninja discarding an energy to draw 2. And Star Portal. All right, we see a Cryogonal was taken off that dive ball. Unfortunately, I think it might just be too little too late for that Cryogonal. Palkia moving to the active spot, that Napoleon V going to the bench. Using that float stone to retreat. Unfortunately, Palkia not going to be taking a knockout. It's just not enough Pokemon in play for that. I'm going to have to try to two-shot Blissey, which, if you've ever played against it in Standard, is less than ideal. That's draw 3, I believe, off of Lucky Energy there. Yep, draw 3 off of Lucky Energy and 1 per turn, so 4 total. Using Quick Ball. Getting a Shaman, discarding. I'm not sure what Acerola looks like. All of that energy is being moved to the benched Blissey, and we are seeing the Acerola. And that's going to be a one-shot against that Origin Form Palkia V. Star, pardon. 280 damage exactly, taking out that Palkia. Just absolutely devastating. Kaitsubon now in need of another V-Star and a lot of Pokemon on both sides to take a KO here. Blissey just not a deck that plays down a whole lot of Pokemon, doesn't want to play a lot of Pokemon down. Even in Eternal format, you basically play Shaman, Blissey, and Miltank, and you play those sparingly. Acerola, which you don't need down. See an Origin form Palkia V off that Irida. Going straight to the bench by the look of it. We see Pokemon Retriever. Start discard file for a basic Pokemon and evolution cards. You may choose to show one basic Pokemon and evolution card to your opponent and put into your hand, or show a combination of 3 basic evolution cards to your opponent and shuffle them into your deck. So this is a slightly worse version of Rescue Stretcher from Guardians Rising. So we see the Lapras and a 1/1 line of Palkia going back into the deck off of Retriever. Doing 200 damage to Blissey. Not going to be a KO, unfortunately. I do see Slutty's starting their turn after drawing basically 4 cards to start their turn because of Lucky Energy and their main regular top deck. See double colorless energy come down, a Hyper Potion, healing away 120 of that damage, leaving just 80 on the Blissey, making it even more difficult to deal with this Blissey. And a second Hyper Potion coming down. Gotta imagine that Versus Seeker is coming in to grab the to grab the boss's orders. Interesting. Going after that benched Palkia. And that's knockout. Attaching a couple of double colorless energy from the discard pile to the Blissey with Blissful Blast. That Blissey is just an absolute monster. And what's crazier too is Blissey is gaining V-Guard energy in the next set here. Which means that on top of fighting Fury Belt and on top of all the energy or the bulk it has already, it's going to be gaining even more bulk. Alright. We're gonna see a scoop to game 2, calling that a done deal. Just not worth trying to deal with that one. Katsuban choosing to go first. I'm gonna mulligan on Slidey's side. Alrighty. Zelf versus Blissey. This could be over very, very quickly. We saw exactly this sort of situation in the last game. Okay, we do see a dive ball, so there is going to be another Pokemon in play. See the origin form Palkia V come down. And energy attachment. Is that going to be a pass or no? It is indeed a pass. That is a first turn that sometimes happens, unfortunately. And that's going to be a knockout on that Azelf. Easy to see that coming. Unfortunately, Azelf just doesn't have enough HP to withstand a Blissey attack. See another energy come down on the Palkia. But with no Pokemon on the bench at the moment, that's not going to be doing a whole lot of damage. You're going to get a second Pokemon out for Katsuban, ensuring there's at least one bench Pokemon. I have to imagine going to go for a dive ball or something else to search out Pokemon to make it possible to have a little bit more. Going for a Pokedraw Plus. Okay, so perhaps 2 of those in hand at the moment. Got that Capacious Bucket. Getting 2 water energy. I see Pokedraw Plus come down, and the second one, basically a double computer search off that card. Extremely strong effect. Frankly, maybe a little too strong. All right, Starmie comes down, trying to add a little bit of damage to this attack. Make it not quite so feeble. Doing 120 to that Blissey. Using that Pokestop, nuking the top 3 cards from the deck, throwing 2 of them, throwing the Marnie into the discard pile and the other 2 into the discard pile as well. Those other 2 were energy cards, so Powerful Colors and Lucky Energy. Decided using Pokedrawer Plus, looking for 2 cards in the deck. What will we see? Will we see an Acerola? Will we see the Shaman? Because as it stands now, there's not going to be a knockout. Choosing just to Hyper Potion those energies off and heal up. Doing just 70 damage to Palkia. Attaching Lucky Energy and Powerful Colors to the Blissey. I do see an evolution of that Palkia. Unfortunately, not any more cards for the bench. No Skyfield, no nothing much. We do see Star Portal. Throwing into energy, most likely onto the Palkia. Or perhaps on the Starmie. Starmie would not be a horrible choice. We do see it on the Starmie. Not going to be quite enough damage for KO, though. It's only 200 right now. It's only chosen not to attach any double energies to the Blissey. I have to imagine Slidey is going to choose to go after that Starmie before it can be a huge threat. That Starmie is a fairly good counter to Blissey for Palkia. That damage is quite devastating. Alright, we're going to see an Irida. I'm looking for a water Pokemon, which they have found. They found that Cryogonal, and they are also going to look for an item card. Okay, so when choosing to grab Pokedraw Plus, you have to wonder if they have the other Pokedraw Plus for that pair in their hand right now to make the best use of that Pokedraw. Or if they're just getting it ahead of time to make sure to have it in hand. And we do indeed see the double Pokedraw. So we're going to probably see, I have to imagine, a Floatstone attachment. Has there been a manual attachment for this turn? Does look like it. At this point, Kragan was mostly there just to fill bench space, it looks like. Boosting that damage up by 20 for Palkia V-Star. Origin form Palkia V-Star, subspace, swell attack, doing 60 base damage and 20 more for each benched Pokemon in play, both yours and your opponent's. So there are 5 benched Pokemon in play, so 5 times 20 is 100, plus the 60 base, so do 160. Slightly going to take 2 cards off of those lucky energy hits, and then a draw again for turn, so 3 total. Start out that turn. 3 fresh cards just for being attacked. How wonderful. Luxury Ball coming down to get another Blissey. Probably going to see either a Scramble Switch or the Acerola and Shaman play from Blissey here. We see a Battle Compressor for Guzma, Guzma Hala, and In. All 3 going to the discard pile. Making sure those cards are accessible with Versus Seeker. And yet again, we see another Battle Compressor. This time discarding Acerola, Lucky Energy, and Capture Energy. All right, Pokestop is going to find 3 item cards. How fortunate. So Pokestop putting all 3 of those cards into its user's hand, making it possible for Slidey to play a third Battle Compressor this turn if they so choose. Slidey already down to 16 cards in deck versus Ketsuban's 28. So there is a difference in the amount they've drawn or discarded, but probably not quite enough to matter in terms of deck out just yet. All right, there's the Blissey, there's the Scramble Switch. Energy being moved to some of the energy rather being moved to the active Blissey V. Choosing to leave the weakness card attached to Blissey on the bench. Acerola-ing the card on the bench there to put it back into the hand. So not only did we see the Acerola, we also saw the Scramble Switch play, both on the same turn. Absolutely nutty. Couldn't quite hit the Shaman, I would assume. Bliss will last for 120 damage. It's putting Palkia at 190, giving Palkia a chance to try to come back here, but just that lack of a wide bench on Blissey is very difficult for Palkia to deal with. And then you've got all these scooping cards that Blissey plays in Acerola and Scrabble Switch that just make it very challenging. And then there's Acerola on Ketsuban's side at Palkia, going back up to the hand. Slidey having to play that energy very carefully to play around that Starmie V on the bench, trying to make sure that there won't be excessive energy on the Blissey after attacking. We see Guzma Hala. Guzma Hala, a supporter card from Cosmic Eclipse, which says, search your deck for a stadium card, reveal it and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. When you play this card, you may discard 2 other cards from your hand. If you do, You may also search for a Pokemon tool card and a special energy card in this way. So it looks like the stadium card of choice is going to be Skyfield. Skyfield bumping the Pokestop, and we're getting a Floatstone and a Splash Energy for Katsuban off of that secondary effect. We're going to see a Crobat for 2. Desperately digging for something, but what is the question? Just doing 120 damage. Not doing anything significant damage-wise to that Blissey. That Blissey, quite the wall in this format. 6. Yeah, 180, well, not 120. We're going to apply the base damage there. Drawing off Lucky Energy to draw 3. Lucky Energy, an absolutely amazing card out of Chilling Rain. The Pokemon this card's attached to is in the active spot and is damaged by an attack from your opponent's Pokemon. Even if it's knocked out, draw a card. You also see another amazing card come down, double Pokedraw Plus, and when you play 2 of them at once, you can search your deck for 2 of any card. That card from the Diamond and Pearl era. See a Floatstone come down on the Blissey, and Shaman, moving all his energies off of the damaged Blissey and onto the bench Blissey. Blissey with the damage going to the bench, able to hide all that damage on the bench. Going through a Guzma, most likely to get that Starmie to get rid of that threat. That threat is just too big to leave in play. Yep, that Starmie does go down. Slidey now being able to be much more liberal with the attachment of energies from the discard pile, not having to worry about that Starmie being a constant threat. See the evolution of that bench origin form Pokemon V. Contemplating which play to make here. Going for a dive ball, searching the deck for a water Pokemon. Perhaps for a Lapras. Yep, Lapras going for that support navigation. Probably going for... I was going to say Guzma, but honestly, that's going to have to be Boss Orders. Guzma not going to do it here. And Guzma is still a choice. Perhaps there's another way for them to retreat this turn. Perhaps another Bloodstone or just an energy attachment onto something like the Greninja. All right. I'm going to play that Guzma, gusting up the damaged Blissey. Slidey able to hide it on the bench, but not quite able to keep it there. All right, we do see the Greninja go up to the active spot. We see the attachment of Splash Energy and the discarding of that Splash Energy to retreat the Greninja to put that Palkia back into the active spot and take that knockout against that Blissey. Unfortunately, that benched Blissey is now just an absolute thermonuclear bomb with all that energy, and that Palkia will go down very, very quickly this next turn. At this point, Kitsubun just trying to get some price cards. Blissey saying no, 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 and Kitsubun says, yes, I want 2 price cards. Thank you very much. Give me those price cards. Unfortunately, Blissey is even hungrier for price cards and has the energy to back it up. Ooh, that damage is crazy. Blissful Brass for 370 damage. 370 damage, you are not surviving that as Palkia. That is just not going to happen. Putting the other Palkia V into the active spot, or V-Star rather, into the active spot. Hoping to draw a Melanie, I would imagine. There's no other way you're going to attack this turn. And unfortunately for Kitsubun, it's just not going to happen knockout-wise. Do have the energy off the Melanie, but still need a manual attachment, and the damage output is not going to be there. Manual attachment. Yeah, that's just game. Yeah, it's game. All right, so that is going to be 2-0 in Slidey's favor. So we're going to record that. Blissey is indeed goated. Blissey is very, very strong in this format. Pretty decent in standard, medical in standard, and in Eternal, I think it's just a good deck. Period. I don't think it's a medical in Eternal. I think it's just great. All right. Going to see. We do have a result for the other game, so we can get some standings here. We did indeed see a winner. I'm going to let the chat know real quick, and then we'll talk about it on stream. Let's try that again with the mic unmuted this time. We do have a winner. We do have Gil did take first place. There was a bit of confusion with the results of one of the rounds. Everything was reported correctly. There was just a misunderstanding among the players that were watching the games, but everything is fine. So Gil did take first place with 201 as their record, and then second place went to Slidey with also 201. The resonances between the two of them were a bit different, which is why Gil took first place over Slidey. They're going to get identical prizing either way, simply because it's for fun. It's all good. With that said, we're going to see if we can get Gil on for a little bit of an interview here, just to see, what he has to say about playing Palkia in the Eternal format. Palkia, of course, a deck that's been very, very good in Standard up until very, very recently. I think it's still pretty good. But, of course, in Eternal, it has access to quite a few more tools, like Dive Ball. So let's... we're going to take a quick little pause while I get that set up, and we'll come back.
Yeah, we definitely got to test that. I'm assuming your desktop audio and piece on OBS is like showing, right? When I speak.
My headphone capture is, yes.
Okay, that should do it then.
I think we are good to go. Hopefully the levels aren't too far off from one another. I think we're good. I think we're good to start. So, all right. So you decided to play Origin from Palkia V-Star today. What, other than it being insanely good, what was the reason you went for that particular deck today?
Well, I had some spice, but I wasn't confident in the optimization of my list, and I didn't want to go in with it untested. So I decided, all right, it's the evening before the tournament, and I'm like, all right, am I playing Palkia? Am I playing Mew? What am I doing? I ended up settling for Palkia because I like the deck. It's fun. I like the Cryogonal, the Frozen Lock, 10 damage and lock items. And yeah, I just played Palkia because why not? It's a good deck.
It's a great deck. Okay, so Irida. Irida is an extremely powerful card in standard, even, let alone Eternal. Tell me more about Irida and how it affected your games.
Okay, so greens for jar. Can't go greens anymore. That's fine. I'll just play Irida for jar. That works just as fine.
I mean, you have to have one of them in your hand usually, right? But you're going to have
Yeah,
one of
but
them.
I
You're
do
playing
I
four.
do that I did that with greens all the time. Already having a jar in hand, just fetching the second.
Right. So still an extremely strong option. And I did notice that Spidey was also playing the Poke Drawer, so it's not like you were unique in playing that, but
Yeah.
obviously you had better access to it with Irida. So you're playing Irida now. Would you consider, like, let's say you decided to put down Palkia. You decided to pick something else up. Like, would you play Karina, for example, and still go off of that same, because it's the same effect for fighting Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
Or is it just,
My
would you think it's not worth it?
I mean if I'm playing a fighting deck, then 4 Karina, 4 jar, slam for
So
sure.
you're playing for Irida then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Bus
The searching for jars is just so good. Like
busted card
my
for busted.
retrofitted Dawn fan list has 4 Karina, 4 jar for that reason. It's just such a good synergy.
Awesome. All right. So this is Eternal format. So let's talk about your other text and your other spice for this format. Obviously, we've talked about Pokédraw Plus. So what other cards that are unique to the Eternal format or to Unlimited in general that are part of that deck that make it what it is?
Well, I definitely have to give credit to Lapras from EX Legend Maker and Azelf from Legends Awakened. Those cards should be in every Eternal deck. Maybe you could replace Lapras with like Tapu Lele GX if you have like a Psychic deck with Mysterious Treasure, like Necro Garb does, but I mean, obviously, we all know, Luminion V and stuff, but Luminion V is a two-prizer. Having it sit on your bench is a massive liability. Lapras is a one-prizer, so, like, sure, you could Guzma up the Lapras, but you're taking one prize. You have to really think about whether or not that's worth it. And Azelf is the best price manipulation card in the game. When you play it down from your hand to your bench, you may use its Pokepower Time Walk, which allows you to look into your prize cards, take any Pokemon in there, throw a card back in to replace the Pokemon you took, and unlike Hisuian Heavy Ball, which A only searches basics, it doesn't shuffle your prizes. So you know which prizes are where. So when you're taking prizes, you actually know what you're doing. You're not just taking them.
Did you have an image of your deck list that we can throw up on stream real quick?
Yup. 1 second.
Sorry, let me get this image up there. I found it. It was trying to hide from me. We're not on break right now. We are actually alive. All right. All right, so we have, okay, so Faba is an interesting card. Obviously, it's an expanded card, but it is still an interesting card. So talk about Faba.
Right. So the idea behind Faba is obviously, like we all know how good Windstorm slash Field Blower and Lost Vacuum are. Faba allows you to Lost Zone a stadium, a tool, or a special energy in play. The special energy part is insane. I think in game 2 against Slight, I used Faba to Lost Zone double colorless energy off his Miltank to stall for enough time to take game 2. And obviously just getting rid of a stadium or a tool card that's annoying you is also very good. And it's recyclable reverse seeker.
So the loss zoning of a single special energy is what won you that game, basically.
Yeah.
That's
Well, I used Faba a second time as well to get rid of the powerful colorless, which bought enough time for Starmie V with Swift to take kill a Miltank.
with Swift. Not even its second attack, but Swift.
Nope. I never thought I'd
Wow.
announce Swift, but here we are. Shred attacks are good.
Shred attacks are good. Well, that's pretty amazing. All right, one last card I wanted to talk about before we wrap it up. Still a quick interview. Crobat G. So you've got Crobat in there too.
So basically, it just helps fix math for this 10 damage to something. It's Galarian Zigzagoon, but it has free retreat. It's effectively plus 30 damage, because it also counts as plus 20 on the bench.
Yeah.
But again, Galarian
Hey,
Zigzagoon, free retreat.
that free retreat makes the difference, and it makes it a better card. Well,
Yep.
thank you so much for having this little interview afterward, and thank you for participating in today's tournaments, today's tournament rather. I hope to see you in the next JIBX Eternal format tournament.
Oh, for sure.
All right.
Hopefully, I have no school issues next time, because I had to drop out of my school's chess.
Yeah, that could. We're getting up at 8 to play Eternal. All right, real quick, I'm going to wrap up the stream. All right, so thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this stream. Hope you guys enjoyed watching some very fun decks and fun everything today as we watched decks slug at one another. Slug at one another. I can talk today. Slug at one another with 26 years of cards under their belts. As always, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.